Hello beautiful friends, happy summer basically. I am so excited today to be bringing you the ultimate summer cozy mystery guide. I have over 30 different cozy mystery series that I'm going to be recommending today that are very summery, whether they actually take place during summer, which I'll try to indicate, or they just have very summery vibes. Think like beachy cozies, lakeside cabins, hot like 4th of July cozies, that sort of thing. So the first one I want to recommend is Dead, White, and Blue by Annie McEwen. This is the second in the Northwoods mystery book series, and as you can probably tell by the cover and everything, this takes place during the 4th of July, so definitely a very summery cozy. The first book is really enjoyable as well. I loved it. And this book is book 2. You have lots of doggies. You have Emmy, who is an interior designer who moves back to her family at the Northwoods, with the Wisconsin Northwoods. And Emmy Cooper with her family is running Cooper's Cove, which is like this collection of like little cabins where people come and stay, so it's like a lake cottage resort. And in this one, something goes awry during the 4th of July festivities. I love the writing for this. The setting especially is beautiful. I love the characters and the family. Her family has so much heart. There's adorable dogs and the setting is divine. If you're looking for something humorous, hilarious, if you like a group of sleuths, I really recommend the Gladdy Gold mystery series. This one is the first book in the series. It's called Getting Old is Murder. It's by Rita Lakin, and this whole series is described as she's not Miss Marple and her friends are no Charlie's Angels, but 75-year-old Gladdy Gold and her friends have a little detective agency and they start to solve crimes. And I feel like the mysteries in this are surprisingly pretty deep. Like I was really blown away with them. Most of them take place in Florida, so you like this first book, so you have this really hot Florida setting, which I think is perfect for summer. As you can see, they're even at the pool right here. And in this first book, some of the older residents around their like retirement community start to pass away, and the police kind of write it off because they're older, so they're kind of thinking, oh well, you know, the end of their lives, like, you know, it's nothing suspicious. Well, Gladdy and her friends are like, no, there's something suspicious going on. And the ending for this, I was like, wow. So I mean, it goes there. It's a little bit on the heavier side for a cozy, but it's hysterical, and the Florida setting makes it perfect for summer in my opinion. The Eugenia Patterson mystery series by Tiora Moody. I love Eugenia Patterson. In the second book, I believe she's turning 60, so she's starting to enter that retirement age. She's a retired teacher, and she lives in this neighborhood. She's been there her whole time. She has grown-up children, which creates a lot of family drama and storylines, which I find really interesting. And she is a widow, and she kind of gets involved in these mysteries involved in her neighborhood and with her community. This is considered Christian fiction as well, so there is a little bit of referencing to like church and Christianity, so keep that in mind if that's not your thing. I don't find it to be over the top. I really enjoy Eugenia as a character. She is hysterical. I listened to the first 3 on audio and I love them. They're on the shorter side. They're very just short and punchy and fun. I think more than anything it's about the character Eugenia and her humor, and the mysteries like kind of second to that. I mean, I think the mysteries are good, but I think it's more about the character first and foremost, so keep that in mind depending again on your preferences. But I love Tiora Moody's writing, and I love Eugenia so much. I will definitely be continuing this series. There are, I believe, 10 books in total in the series, and I'm through the first 3 right now, and I've just fallen in love with Eugenia. She just has my heart. She's really spunky. She's got the best humor. She says it like it is. I love her. So I just had to recommend this, and I feel like a lot of the first few books that I read definitely took place during warm seasons, so there was a lot of mentioning of just how hot it was, which made it feel like a good summer recommendation for me. I could not make this video without suggesting the Seaside Cafe mystery series by Bree Baker. I have 1 book left in this series. There's 7 in total. I've read the first 6. I love this so much. This one we have our main character Everly Swan, and she opens an iced tea shop on the beach. I love it. Like, that's all you really need to tell me. So this is a beachy cozy. It's an iced tea shop cozy. Everly Swan has a very interesting kind of a history with this town. Her aunts and her family are supposedly cursed as swans. You kind of learn about that, which I find very interesting. There's some really great relationships that build throughout this, amazing side characters. There's actually a very sweet romance that I don't mind. I think it's actually quite cute, and I think the mysteries for this are amazing. Her aunts are hysterical. I love them. I want to adopt her aunts into my family. I love it. The mysteries have always been excellent for the series, and the iced tea theme is to die for and just so perfect if you're trying to cool down during the summer. Speaking of cooling down, I have a couple of ice cream cozy mysteries to recommend, notably the Ice Cream Shop Mystery Series by Mary Allen and the Lickety Splits Ice Cream Shop Mystery Series by Cynthia Baxter. So both of these are more like thematic recommendations. I love both of these series. I have one more left in this book here. I'm all caught up on this series. I'm hoping more will come out. Let me know if you know. But these are close-ups of the cover. This is book 2 in the series. But this one here takes place in Penniman, Connecticut. Our main character is Riley Rhodes, and she's like a food travel blogger, and she's working at her friend's ice cream shop, and she gets involved in a lot of mysteries. I feel like book 1 in this is really good, but book 2 and 3 take it to the next level. So if you read book 1 and were like, oh, okay, like I liked it, but it wasn't like a knockout, maybe give book 2 a try, because I think it takes it to the next level. This one in particular involves a really cool arts festival. And this one does take place at like the end of summer, approaching like early fall. So a really fun summery read, and just the theme in general for the series, I love it. There's also some adorable cats. The Lickety Splits Mystery Series is one I don't really hear talked about. I need to get my hands on the last book in the series, but I love this. So in this one, our main character is Kate, and she switches her like high-powered life in Manhattan to return home to the small town in Hudson Valley to help her ailing grandmother out. And later her niece ends up joining them, so you actually have 3 generations under one roof, and her niece is helping at the ice cream shop. So I personally love a really like family-centric cozy like that, where you have like multiple generations. I personally love that. And of course this one involves an ice cream shop. The mysteries for this, again, really surprised me. I really liked the detail that went into them. I still remember the ending to one of them, and I read it like over a year ago because it stuck with me so much. And I think this is just, again, a really perfect one for this season. Mango, Mambo, and Murder, a Caribbean Kitchen Mystery Series by Raquel V. Reyes. There are 4 books in total in this series. It is complete. This is the first book in the series, and I just love this. Again, this is one that does take place in Florida. I have quite a few Florida cozies on this list because to me, Florida is just like, I mean, it's the Sunshine State. It gives me summer vibes, like it is hot there, so I love it. But our main character in this is Miriam. She is a mother and wife. She has a son who's about 2 years old, and she is a food anthropologist. So she knows a lot about the history of food and how it affects culture and all of these amazing things. Her husband and her son make a move to Florida because I think he wants to be closer to family. I think he gets like a job offer, and she goes down there and she doesn't have a job at first, but her friend helps her get a job doing these like Caribbean food shows. So she is a Caribbean cooking expert on a Spanish language morning TV show. There is a lot of drama with her and her mother-in-law, and I do not like her mother-in-law. I will say that. It gets a little bit better as the series goes on. Just know that going in, the mother-in-law is very grating. But I love the TV cooking segment. I love learning about the Caribbean food. I love that it takes place in Florida, so you get the hot weather. The mysteries, again, knock me out for these. I have 2 more books in the series to get through, and I really recommend it. I think it's such a fun series. Murder by the Seashore by Samara Yu. This was one I read for a bookish cozy vlog last year. I will link that above. And this one is a kind of beach reads cozy mystery that takes place by the seashore. So our main character opens up this bookshop. She's supposed to do it, I think, with her like fiance or boyfriend, and he ditches her, and it's just terrible, but she goes through with it anyways. A body is found nearby, but the beachy setting for this is top notch. And one that kind of gives me similar vibes in terms of it being beachy and bookish is the Beach Reads Mystery Series by Maggie. It's by Maggie Blackheart. Let me look that up. It is the Beach Reads Mystery Series by Maggie Blackburn. I recently listened to book 1 in the series, which is called Little Bookshop of Murder. Now, I want to give you a very strong PSA because I feel like people are either going to love this or hate it, and I'm kind of neutral. So our main character in this is Summer Merriweather, and basically she returns home to her beachside town because her mother has passed away and left her the bookshop, which is a beach reads bookshop. So it specializes in more like fun reads that you would read on a beach, usually like think romance, cozy mysteries, that sort of thing, versus like heavy nonfiction or something that most people wouldn't read on the beach, right? So our main character comes across as a snob in the first book. I'm gonna just put that out there because she's a Shakespeare teacher and professor at like a college. She kind of grew up, she had this rebellious phase growing up as a teen where she kind of started to really dislike what her mother sold at the bookshop and look down on it as not as good as like classics or Shakespeare, stuff like that. But of course this is kind of part of her plot, like a subplot with her where she's having a change of heart. So keep that in mind. It comes across a bit strong at first, it is kind of annoying, but there is like a greater purpose and lesson with it, so keep that in mind, because otherwise I thought this was a really fun cozy. I thought the mystery was good for this. I figured it out kind of early, but I just so enjoyed the ride with this. I'm excited to see where Summer goes in the next books because I personally really liked it. I saw very mixed reviews on Goodreads from fellow cozy mystery lovers because of her very strong, like, academic literature is better kind of attitude, which I totally get. I see where that's annoying, and sometimes it did kind of rub me the wrong way, but honestly, I think it was a really interesting and brave part on the author to actually use that in a cozy mystery and use that as like a character growth moment. So depending on whether or not you think that's an interesting character growth moment, you may or may not like this, but I do think it is a good summer one. It takes place on the beach. The store is literally a beach reads bookshop, so had to include that. Murder Runs in the Family by Tamara Berry. This was her new release in April and it was phenomenal. So this actually takes place in Arizona, so again, a very sunny state. Our main character is Amber and she is a private investigator in training. She's fleeing from a bad relationship and she shows up at her grandmother Jade's retirement community, which she kind of has to sneak into because she's not, you know, old enough to like qualify for living there. And she's never met her grandmother Jade. She's heard all these crazy stories about her and how she's not like a good person, this and that. But it is this gorgeous, amazing story of like a found family and community within the retirement community because they kind of sneak her in. Then her grandmother and some of her friends are accused of murdering a resident there and Amber gets involved trying to solve it. There are so many ways that this book went that I didn't expect. There is a missing tortoise storyline, which was amazing. And when her grandmother is accused of the murder, Amber is also kind of faced with the question of, well, I don't really know much about this woman. What if she did do it? So it is a really fun take on a cozy mystery. I love that it takes place at a retirement community and we have a granddaughter-grandmother relationship, but it's an estranged, they don't know each other relationship. The missing tortoise was like the cherry on top. I loved that storyline. I love the found family she develops with the other retirees. Just, I mean, give me found family all the way. Like, it just makes my heart just like grow multiple sizes like the Grinch. I love it so much. And I mean, this cover just so summery, so lovely. I would strongly recommend this. I'm hoping this will be a series. If you've heard, let me know, but this was the first book if it is a series. Let's talk Ellen Byron next. So I have two recommendations from her. The first is her Cajun Country mystery series, which takes place in Louisiana with the Crozat family. I have, I think, 1 or 2 books left in the series to listen to, and I'm really sad that it's complete. There's 7 books in total. Our main character is Maggie Crozat. She comes back to help her family at this plantation home they have, which is a B&B, like they've converted it into a B&B. So you always have these interesting festivals and events at the center of the story, which I think is so fun. There's a Mardi Gras festival. There's a really amazing Halloween one I just read called Murder at the Bayou Boneyard. If you're looking for something to cool down this summer, that's a good one. But what gets me for this one is the setting, the B&B details, and her family. I adore the Crozats. They are so heartwarming. You have both of her parents, you have her grandmother. They just have so much heart and soul in the Cajun cooking. So I mean, I think the setting is perfect for this. I think the mysteries are so much fun. There's a basset hound named Gopher, as you can see on the cover, and he is just the most adorable thing. I just want to like hug him and give him all the treats. So I really recommend this series. The newer to me series that I'm really enjoying and would very much recommend for a summer read is the Golden Motel mystery series. I'm almost done with book 2, which was an ARC that was really kindly sent to me. It's coming out in July. But the first book is already out. That one is called A Very Woodsy Murder. I'll put a picture on screen. Recently finished that. It was a 5-star read for me. Our main character in this is Dee, and she's a former sitcom TV writer. And her former husband, they were married for a very brief time, like after college, but they're best friends now, Jeff, open up a golden motel. It's in this Northern California village called Found Gold, which is a mining town, as you can kind of guess here based on the cover. And I love it. I love it. They're both kind of, you know, they don't have a lot of money. They've sunk everything into this. They're very determined to make this work. And of course, a murder happens on the premises in the first book. In the second book, they're trying to fight the moniker, the Murder Motel, based on the first book. And they're not being so successful, but they're working on it. And I love Dee and Jeff. I think they have such a fun relationship. The side characters in this, I can picture the town so clearly. I feel like it is such an amazing setting. This one in particular does take place in summer specifically. I think the other one was in spring, but they're both just very like, it's hot out. It is, you know, they're in the middle of like this hot little town in Northern California, mining village history, which is really interesting, and they are just trying to get this place up and running, and I love it. There's also a bear named Stony who's running around causing havoc, and I just love it. I mean, this is just so humorous. If you're looking for funny, Ellen Byron does dialogue especially well in all of her series. I mean, I will laugh. I will laugh out loud reading this, which is not super common for me when I'm reading. So Ellen Byron does that for me consistently. I really love her dialogue, especially I think it is so snappy. A Georgia Peach mystery series by Susan Furlong. I'm going to shout this one from the rooftops. There are only 3 in this. I binged all 3 in May. And I love it. So of course this takes place in Georgia. So we got some nice hot weather there. And basically in this one we have our main character who returns home to watch over her family's peach farm while her parents are taking a much needed vacation. Her sister runs a nearby diner and she is helping out. Love the family dynamics. I love that the main character recognizes that the peach farm is kind of failing in the first book, so she takes it upon herself to really reinvigorate the business, look for different ways to make income, like opening a peach shop. And the mysteries for this and the family subplots and storylines with the characters, really excellent. I love it. So if you like the Georgia setting, if you're interested in like peach orchards or farming, which I think is a really interesting topic and feels very spring and summery to me, and the audiobook narrator was fantastic, this is a really good one. A Beacon Bake Shop mystery series by Darcy Hannah. So we have a beachy setting here. The bake shop for this is in a lighthouse. About as beachy and summery as it gets. And our first one, this Lindsay Bakewell. Love her last name. She leaves the big city after finding her fiance in the arms of another woman. She wants to like pursue being a pastry chef, so she opens up this bake shop inside a lighthouse, which is incredible. Of course, a murder happens there. She also has a Newfoundland dog named Wellington who will just steal your heart. He is one of the best dog side characters in any cozy mystery I've read. The baking is so good. I actually made a blueberry pie from I think it's the 3rd book, Murder at the Blueberry Festival, which I'll link. I vlogged it and it was delicious. But the mysteries for the series are excellent. I love the side characters, some of her family that pops up. I love the town. I love the Beacon Bake Shop itself. There's a legend about it being haunted, which is really interesting. The last book I just read in it was the Murder at the Blueberry Festival, and that one was the best yet. And I've loved them all so much, so highly recommend this series. Next we have the Lakeside Library Mystery Series by Holly Danvers. I have book 2, which is called Long Overdue at the Lakeside Library. This one does take place in the winter, but the first book takes place during summer, and it has a really interesting concept. So this one takes place in Wisconsin. Our main character, Rain Wilmette, she moves back after her husband passes away. It's a really tragic situation, and basically her family has this like summer kind of cabin home on the lake in this very small town. I mean, they don't even have like, they have like one little grocery shop. It is a very tiny town. Her best friend from many years ago lives there, so she gets to kind of reconnect with her, which I love. And Rain opens up her family's little community library because the town is so small that they don't have a library in the town or close to them. So the family has this kind of shed outside of the cabin that they've converted into a library so they can share and lend out books to locals, which I love. The first book takes place in the summertime, and Rain gets involved in a mystery where some of her like parents are kind of like implicated in something kind of curious that's going on. I love how she reconnects with her best friend. I love the setting. It's gorgeous, and it's just such a great heartwarming series. I'm really looking forward to continuing this. A book that takes place during August is the Samantha Davies mystery series, book 1. This is called Kibbles and Death by S.A. Koslow. which I didn't notice this till very recently, but there's actually a really cute map with Porkchop the Dachshund, and that, you heard me right. The dog's name is Porkchop, which is absolutely incredible. Our main character is Samantha Davies. She's just gone through a really nasty divorce, and she's trying to kind of figure out what she wants to do because she's, I think, kind of like semi-retired. But she is also a children's book writer, or she's trying to be. She's trying to write a series about her Dachshund, Porkchop. So this is a very, it's like hard to describe the theme of this, but I would say it's very like pet heavy, because we have the children's book about Porkchop, we have lots of Porkchop scenes, and then in this one, someone at the local like animal shelter is murdered, she gets involved. I really want to continue this series. It just is so fun, so cute. Very short books, so very fun reads if you're going, you know, on vacation or something, you want something fun and quick to read. This would be a great pick. Who Moved My Goat Cheese by Lynn Cahoon. I read this last month. This is book 1 in this series, and it's called the Farm to Fork mystery series, and this one involves farms, which I think is really fun. This first one had a lot of goat moments, as you can guess by the cover, but our main character and her best friend are opening a farm-to-table restaurant in this small town. So the main character is going around to all the local farmers to try to, you know, make deals with them to get local ingredients sourced for the restaurant. When the goat cheese farmer is murdered, she gets involved. She takes in their goat for the while, which I loved. I loved the goat scenes. I was like, I was living for the goat scenes. But the yummy, fresh food references, I'm excited to see the restaurant launched more in book 2 because they had the soft opening in the first book, but I'm really excited to see that kind of progress. I thought the mystery was fun. It was a great audiobook listen and lots of like springy, summery vibes. I think the farming theme is really great, and I love the idea of a farm-to-table restaurant being featured. The Lighthouse Library Mystery Series by Eva Gates. If you're looking for something bookish and beachy, this one is kind of like the Beacon Bake Shop, but it's a library in a lighthouse, which is incredible. This is a series I need to personally continue. I think I actually have, oh wait, I do have one of the books on my shelf. This one I haven't read yet. This is the Halloween edition, The Spook and the Stacks. But our main character in this is Lucy, and she works as a librarian in the lighthouse, gets involved in lots of different fun, bookish inspired mysteries. Like this one's inspired with Sleepy Hollow. A lot of them feature bookish mysteries where like books are stolen or different book events go wrong, that sort of thing. So if you're looking for something very bookish themed that has a summery setting and location with the beach, I would really recommend this series. Another one I recently started and loved, and this one did take place in the summer, is Lending a Paw by Laurie Cass. This is the first in the Bookmobile Cat Mystery series. So again, a great bookish one, a great cat one. This takes place in Michigan. Our main character in this is Minnie. She is a librarian, and she is pitching this idea of a bookmobile to her library to try to kind of be the one who shepherds this new program, to try to get books out to people in areas that don't have easy access to the library, or maybe who can't drive to the library, such as like dropping off books at senior communities, which I love. I think this is such an amazing, I've never been to a bookmobile. I really want to though. I think it would be amazing. But Eddie sneaks in with her on her first day and discovers a body. So fantastic bookish moments, amazing moments with Eddie the cat. If you like cats in your cozies, this one from what I remember did take place during the summer season, and it's just such a heartwarming series. I cannot wait to continue it. For another beachy cozy mystery, and if you guys know if this one's continuing, please let me know because I haven't seen anything. This is the Outer Banks Bookshop Mystery Series. It's by Alicia Bassett. This is the second book in the series. It's called Murder on Mustang Beach. The first is called Smile Beach Murder. This one is on my physical TBR. It was actually on my summer TBR. I'll link that above. But I have read the first book, Smile Beach Murder, and I really enjoyed it. I will give a fair warning. This one's a little bit on the darker side for a cozy. Still, in terms of like graphicness or cursing or romantic scenes, it's nothing like graphic. It just has darker themes to it, so keep that in mind. But our main character in this is Callie, and in the first one she's returning home to the small island that she grew up on to visit her uncle and to just kind of find herself. Some things have been going wrong in her life, and very mysteriously, years ago her mother had allegedly jumped from the lighthouse, ending her own life. But a woman on the same date, the same anniversary, is found dead in the same way, and she starts to think this might be more than a coincidence and gets involved in the case. The bookshop has a lot of heart and soul. I love the bookshop proprietor in this, and I love the Tin Man. Tin Man is the cat, the bookstore cat, and he's a cat influencer. And I love it. I love it because my favorite, I mean, besides like bookish content, my favorite things to follow on Instagram are other animals. So yeah, I'm all about this, but this has a fantastic, very beachy setting. I cannot wait to read the second book this summer. It's just such a great cozy series. If you know anything about it, whether it's continuing, please let me know. The Murder Movie Club Mystery series by Marcy Blessey. I have read book 1 in this. The first one did take place during the summer from my recollection, and this one is fantastic if you're looking for found family and a really interesting movie club theme. So basically we have this very random group. They're mostly seniors. We have one girl who's like a single mother. I say girl, I mean woman. She's like in her late 30s, early 40s. So we have one gal who's a single mother who's really struggling, and we have some very kind of eclectic people who are retirees. They're kind of just, all of them are kind of lost in life in one way or another. They find each other. They're doing this movie club at this local movie theater, and what they do is they watch murder mysteries each week on Monday, and before it's revealed who done it, they all pause the movie and discuss their different theories. I love it. I love this like idea so much. And in this first one, of course, they find the ticket taker murdered, and they decide who better than us to solve it. If you like groups that are sleuthing together, if you like, you know, a mix, like if you like more retiree focused mystery, this one is primarily retirees if you enjoy more like senior sleuths, and I love it. I love the found family elements. The mystery itself was great, but for me, I fell in love even more with like the characters and the found family element. Just warmed my heart so much. I can't wait to continue this series. I think there's now 3 out in it. Would highly recommend it. Also from Marcy Blessey, if you're looking for a very summery setting, her Tucson Retirement Valley community mystery series is really great. Again, I've read the first book. I need to continue the series, but our main character goes back to help her parents because I think her dad like broke his leg and they need some help. So they live at this Tucson Valley retirement community. She's living there temporarily. There's some golden retriever action. It's really cute. And of course she gets involved solving a mystery. That is another really great one. Again, Tucson, Arizona. It is hot. I mean, it's like hot year-round there, in my opinion. I've been to Tucson many times, and it is very hot. Had a really heartwarming plot. Again, I loved the retirement community. I loved the residents and her parents and their relationship. Just made it for me. The Pancake House Mysteries by Sarah Fox. This one takes place in a very beachy seaside community. Our main character returns home after her uncle has an accident. She's helping to run his pancake house while he's in the hospital. However, he is unfortunately murdered, leaving her with the pancake house and to try to figure out what happened to him. I am listening to this one on audio. I'm very excited for book 2. It has a very seaside beachy cover, but I've really enjoyed this. I love Sarah Fox's writing, and this one feels the most beachy and summery to me, so I wanted to throw this in here as a good foodie cozy mystery recommendation. Against the Claw by Sherry Randall. So in general, I just recommend the Lobster Shack mystery series. This one does take place in Mystic Bay, which is in New England. But we have a very beachy setting, lots of lobstering. Our main character in this is Allie, and she's a ballerina who is recovering. In the first book, she's really badly, I think she's broken actually her ankle, so she's recovering throughout the book. You do have some really nice dance and theater references throughout the series as she's trying to recuperate and gain her strength back, which I love. I recently finished this series. I'm so bummed because there's only 3 books in the series from what I can tell. I believe it's finished. But I love Allie and her Aunt Goalie. Her Aunt Goalie is the one who runs the Lobster Shack, which they call the Lazy Mermaid Lobster Shack. And I mean, there is a lobster roll competition in one of these. This one involves drama with a party that they're putting on and catering, and I just love the really delicious seafood descriptions, the seaside setting in New England. I love that she's a ballerina. I think that's an interesting aspect of her character. Her and her sister have a very interesting relationship as well, so a really great family dynamics cozy mystery, and I love the setting of this for summer. Hashtag Follow Me for Murder by Sarah E. Burr. I recently started listening to the Trending Topic mystery series. This one follows Coco Klein, who is an influencer, and she's also becoming a marketer for like small businesses, and she's helping some business owners who are opening a boutique when their shop assistant is found murdered in the building, and she gets involved. I really enjoy this. I thought this was fun. It has lots of social media references, of course. It's a very like millennial humor, if you will, but it takes place in like a beachy small town, which I think makes it a great fit. And I thought this was a really fun, very light-hearted, cozy series to try out this summer. The LA Night Market series by Jennifer J. Chow. This one takes place in Los Angeles, of course, and we have 2 cousins who are kind of at odds. They don't know each other very well. One is very introverted and quiet and bookish, and the other is actually an influencer, and she's very like personable and kind of like loud and extroverted, and she's arriving from overseas, and the father is like, why don't you guys open a bubble tea stand at this night market in LA? So I love the setting for this. I have the second book actually somewhere. I have the second book somewhere behind me. Oh, here we go. What? This is the second book here, Hot Pot Murder, and I just really loved Yale and Celine's relationship in this. The cousins just trying to get to know each other, trying to appreciate each other for their differences while sleuthing together, so a really interesting kind of reluctant sleuthing duo. Next, I have a bunch of Southern cozies. Again, this just gives me vibes for summer. So first we have Southern Sass and Killer Cravings by Kate Young. This one is part of this diner mystery series, and we have two sisters, one who's coming back home after a long stay away. Their mother has passed away, and the main character can actually speak to her mother's ghost. So it's like very lightly supernatural, there's no other supernatural elements, and they start to get involved in a mystery with this. I loved the diner setting. I thought the mother's ghost was interesting because the mother's ghost is kind of looking for penance, and it was just a really interesting setup. It does take place in Georgia, so very summery, warm, hot location there. I also recently started the Southern Ladies mystery series by Miranda James. This is kind of an offshoot of the Cat in the Stacks mystery series. It involves two older sisters. We have Miss Dixie and Miss Angel, and they live in this gorgeous like estate. In the first book, they have an old sorority sister of theirs show up claiming that her family is trying to kill her, and then the family shows up and everyone's under the same roof and they're trying to solve the mystery because of course someone's murdered under their roof. You have some characters who overlap from the Cat in the Stacks mystery series, including the cat Diesel, who they're pet sitting in the first book, which I love. I love the sisters. You kind of get to read from both their perspectives. They had really unique personalities that made them really special, and I love the Southern hospitality that they show, even though they are not pleased with everyone just showing up at their door like that, which I could completely understand. Murder at Redwood Cove by Janet Finsilver, another one I started last month. This one is actually like kind of like a B&B mystery series. I do believe it took place during the summer from what I remember, but the main character is part of this like hotel management group where they'll send out people to help hotels that are struggling or need temporary management. In this case, the previous owner fell off the cliff side near the hotel. So not so good there. She arrives, it's her first like solo job, like big job, and she's very excited until she realizes from some of the people there that he might have been murdered. And there's this group called the Silver Sentinels who are, I believe, like all retirees. They have silver hair, based on the name, I'm assuming, and they start to inform her, because they've been sleuthing a bit themselves, that they think the hotel owner was murdered. They start to help her with the sleuthing. There's also this really sweet boy who I believe his mother's one of the employees at the hotel, and his name is Tommy, and he has a basset hound named Fred, and he will just steal your heart. He is such a sweet boy. I love him. He's going through some challenges of his own, and him and his basset hound Fred are to die for. I love them. I want to give them both hugs. Atita Rossi's Kitchen Mystery Series by Mia P. Manansala involves a Filipina American named Leela, and she is helping her family, her Tita Rossi's kitchen, which is a restaurant serving Filipino food, and someone dies in it during the first book. Now again, this one's a little bit on the darker side, I would say, some darker themes, still very much a cozy mystery, lots of family drama between her and her whole family that she's trying to figure out. In the second book, her and her best friends open the Bruja Cafe, which is really fun and serves baked goods, you know, tea, coffee, that sort of thing. I love all the different types of food that are featured in this. I think the mysteries are really solid, and I love just the layers of family subplots that this series has throughout it. Cake and Punishment. This is part of the Southern Cake Baker mystery series, and this is actually written by Tonia Capes under a different pen name by Marmee Bell. And our main character in this is Sophia, and she has returned home in the first book because things are not going great for her. She found her fiance like cheating on her, and she eventually starts to work towards opening a Southern cake shop, which I love because she discovers that as her passion. The mysteries in this were really good. There's a lot of heart in the storyline, and I personally just loved the setting and the family, and just it was really good. It was just a really solid cozy mystery series. And again, I'm a big fan of like Southern cozies during the summer season, so I think this is a fun one to pick up. Only 2 books in the series though, which is a big bummer. Next, I would recommend the Bad Hair Day mystery series by Nancy J. Cohen. This one is super close to my heart because this was one of the first ones I ever read as a cozy mystery series. Now, I have the Halloween one here. It's a novella, so I'll pop some of the other covers on screen, but this one takes place in Florida, scorching hot weather, with our main character Marla, who works at a hair salon. I love the idea of a hairstylist cozy mystery because people tend to just, tell their life story when they're in the chair, right? And Marla is such a personable, flawed, lovely sleuth. She's got a very interesting backstory you kind of explore in the first book. There's a very endearing romantic subplot in this that I actually found very sweet. Hair salon setting, the beauty conventions, all these different events that go on. And yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think it's a great series. I have a few more in it, but there are like over 15 in the series, so it's definitely one that has a strong backlist if you're looking for a bingeable series this summer. I also really love By the Books mystery series by Tamara Berry. This is the last one in the series, and our main character is Tess Harrow, and she is a thriller writer. You kind of have the writer writing a book while you're reading a book trope, which is kind of fun. And she and her teenage daughter, who is a character all her own. She is very like snarky and passionate about kind of strange things by most people's standards, and I love her so much. They move out to her grandfather's cabin that was left to her in this very small town. It's very isolated, a little bit more on the dark side, I would say, in terms of some descriptors of violence, so keep that in mind just a little bit. But I love Tamara Berry's very punchy, fast-paced writing. If you're someone who likes cozy mysteries but you feel like they're kind of slower paced for your taste, Tamara Berry is who I'd recommend. She has very punchy, fast-paced storylines, and I love that the main character is a thriller writer. I think that is such a funny kind of profession to have as a cozy mystery sleuth. I love it, and she is very witty, very fun, and these mysteries tend to be very bookish because throughout the series she starts to work on opening her own bookshop, as you can kind of see here on the cover. So I really recommend this series. Alright guys, that is everything for me. I feel like I have been talking for 10 million hours. I tried to be brief with each description so that I wouldn't take an hour to go through all of these, but hopefully you got enough details about each one to kind of pique your interest. Let me know what your favorite summer cozy mystery series are below. I'm always looking for recommendations. And thank you again for joining me today. If you enjoy cozy mystery content, cozy bookish content, or any type of mystery book recommendations like murder mysteries, thrillers as well, I talk about that here, so hit subscribe and like. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!